4 games in, and the sugar rush of preseason hype has long since worn off. This is the point in an NFL season when reality sets in. The hot takes fade, the optimism cools, and you see teams for what they really are. And for the Raiders, reality is harsh. 1-3. That's the record staring back at them. Not the start fans dreamed of. Not the start the front office expected. Not the start a team with this much talent should ever accept. The questions are louder now. With injuries mounting and the quarterback position already a source of concern, what can anyone truly expect from this group as the season moves forward? The first blow is devastating. Colton Miller. Losing him changes everything. At first, it was whispered maybe just a shoulder tweak, then maybe a mild ankle sprain. But the truth came crashing down, a high ankle sprain and a hairline fracture. Miller's been put on IR, and there's a very real chance Raider fans won't see him again this year. That's not just a setback, that's ripping out the engine of the car. Miller wasn't simply good. He was playing like one of the best left tackles in football this season, protecting Gino's blindside, anchoring the run game, being the steady presence you build a line around. And now, gone Pete Carroll insists it's next man up. That's the NFL mantra after all. But the next man is Stone Forsythe. And let's be honest, that doesn't inspire much confidence. Forsythe is the definition of a career backup. The numbers don't look grading out in the 40s on PFF, allowing sacks, giving up pressures, committing penalties. Worse, most of his career work has been on the right side, not the left. So now you're asking him to protect the blind side against the league's best edge rushers. That's like handing someone who just learned to drive a stick shift the keys to a Ferrari and telling them to jump into the Indy 500. Everyone knows how that ends, and here's the bigger issue. Carroll preaches competition. Always compete. Earn your spot. But where's the competition here? Charles Grant, the rookie they drafted in the 3rd round, isn't even getting a chance. Forsythe's just being handed the job because he's Pete's guy. It's not competition, that's favoritism. And sure, Grant is raw, maybe not fully ready, but you don't know until you put him on the field. Look back at Colton Miller in 2018. As a rookie, he gave up 16 sacks. He got embarrassed, beaten, exposed. But he learned. By year 2, he was solid. By now, he's elite. That's how you build talent. You throw them in, let them take their lumps, and see if they swim. With Forsythe, there's no future. With Grant, at least there's upside. And yet here we are. That brings us to the other massive question. Gino Smith. 4 games in. 6 touchdowns. 7 interceptions. That's the stat line. That's not just mediocre, that's losing football. This offseason, the bar was clear. Push toward 30 touchdowns. Keep the picks around 10. Prove you can be steady. Instead, Gino looks like he's on pace for another 20 and -15 season. You don't win in today's NFL with that. It's not just the numbers, it's how the turnovers are happening. He's locking on 2 receivers, telegraphing passes. Defenses know Brock Bowers isn't at full strength, so they're not afraid of deep threats. They're sitting on underneath routes, baiting him, and he's falling for it every single time. And here's the maddening part. Gino's best throws are the deep ones. The arm strength is there. We saw it against Washington. But since then, it's like he's scared to pull the trigger. Everything's short, safe, predictable, and defenses are feasting on it. The solution isn't complicated. Either fully commit to taking what's available underneath, or start hitting calculated deep shots to keep defenses honest. You can't play in the middle. You can't keep staring down receivers. Protect the ball, make the throws that are there, and above all, stop being the liability that drags the rest of the team down. Nobody's asking him to be Mahomes or Allen or Burrow. Raider Nation doesn't need a superhero. They just need steady. A 7 out of 10 every week. No roller coasters. No games where you're an 8 one week and a 3 the next. Just consistency. That's the difference between winning and losing. But it's not all doom and gloom. There are bright spots, and they're not small. Ashton Jeanty has arrived. 4 games in, and he's already 8th in the league in rushing. Against the Bears, finally broke the long one. Everyone's been waiting for a 64-yard touchdown that electrified the stadium. His balance, his toughness, the way he creates when there's nothing there, it's all there. He's not just hitting the holes, he's making magic out of thin air. And paired with Raheem Mostert, who added another 60-plus yards, the Raiders suddenly have a backfield that looks dangerous. That's the Pete Carroll formula. Run the ball, control the clock, keep the quarterback in manageable situations. Against Chicago, for the first time all season, it actually looked like it could work. The turnovers ruined it, sure, but think about the big picture. The Raiders rushed for over 200 yards. The offensive line, even banged up, gave Gino time. The defense held the Bears to just 2 rushing yards in the first half. 2, that's domination. And even with the turnovers, the Bears only managed 13 points off them. That's a defense keeping you alive when you should have been buried. And then there's Max Crosby. Finally, a game where he reminded everyone exactly why he's mentioned in the same breath as guys like TJ Watt, Micah Parsons, and Myles Garrett. Game-changing plays, relentless pressure. Moments where you look at the screen and say, yeah, that's a superstar. That's the Crosby the Raiders need every single week if they're going to claw their way out of this hole. So what do we know? A quarter into the season? We know the Raiders can run the ball. We know the defense can stonewall the run and give the offense chances. We know they've got talent, pieces that can swing games, an identity waiting to form. What's missing is simple: consistent, complementary quarterback play. Gino doesn't have to carry the team. He just can't keep sinking it. The road ahead is brutal. The Colts are next, led by Jonathan Taylor, the league's top rusher, running behind a nasty offensive line. Daniel Jones is playing mistake-free football, and the Colts barely punt. Then it's the Titans. Then the Chiefs. If the Raiders don't figure things out fast, this season could unravel before Halloween. But it's not over yet. 1-3 isn't a death sentence. Teams have started this way and turned it around before. The question is whether this staff and this roster have the right answers. Can Chip Kelly find a small handful of plays he knows will work every time the way Gruden once had, spider to Y banana? Can Brennan Carroll stop leaning on his dad's favorites and actually develop the young linemen the team drafted? Can Pete Carroll turn his always compete philosophy from a catchphrase into something real? Something that builds accountability and a culture of winning? Because here's the thing, this roster isn't hopeless. It's not broken beyond repair. There's talent here. There's a foundation. There are guys like Genty and Crosby who can swing games by themselves. But you can't keep tripping over your own feet. You can't keep giving away games with turnovers and mental mistakes. You can't keep putting players on the field just because they're favorites. Raider Nation deserves better than that. The season isn't dead, but it's fragile. And if the Raiders don't seize their opportunities now, then 1-3 will just be the start of another year of heartbreak. So what do you think? Can the Raiders turn this thing around before it spirals out of control? Should Charles Grant get the nod over Forsythe at left tackle? And is Geno Smith really capable of steadying the ship? Or are we looking at the beginning of the end for his time in silver and black? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.